So here is a attitude for us to change or adopt. We need to realize that God gives us responsibility a little at a time. God is so good not to overwhelm us. Now that can make us get antsy and feel like we're not doing enough because God is not giving us enough responsibility early enough. But in reality, if He gives you too much too soon, you won't be able to handle it. And then on the other end, you might feel like, you know what? I think I'm pretty good with what I'm supposed to be doing right now. And then the Lord gives you a little bit more. So indeed, God continues, particularly in our Christian life, in our spiritual life, in the way that we serve Him. He gives us a little more each and every season of our life. So let's look at the Israelites going into the promised land. Remember, Deuteronomy is a series of speeches that Moses is giving to the second generation of Israelites going into the promised land. The first generation did not obey God and did not want to take the promised land, but the second generation did. And we see it opens, chapter 7 opens, that when the Lord brings you into the land, guys, you're going to make it. You're going to get into this promised land. And when you're in this promised land and you conquer those godless nations that are there, uh, God commands the Israelites that they should break down their altars, that they should have no other gods besides Yahweh, besides Jehovah, besides the one and true God. And that would be a command we need to be following today. You should not. It is detrimental to your soul for you to worship anyone else besides the Lord. Why? Because you are a people holy to the Lord your God. You are special. You are set apart for God. That was true of the Israelites, and that's true of the Christian. If you trust in Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, you are a holy people to the Lord. Notice this promise that God, through Moses, gives the Israelites. Because you listen to these rules and keep and do them, we know the foundation of those rules being the Ten Commandments, the Lord your God will keep with you the covenant and the steadfast love that He swore to your fathers. Since you're obeying me, then I will bless you, is the essence of that promise. We know in reality, reading the Old Testament, that the Israelites did not listen to these rules. They did not keep them. They did not have only one God. They had many gods, and they did not break the idols. In fact, they created idols and created altars to other gods. And so, therefore, God kicked them out of the land. And we know that we have a good relationship with God in the new covenant under the New Testament through Jesus Christ, because Jesus obeyed the law where we could not. And therefore, we as Christians get to experience the blessings of this wonderful relationship with God. Going on, Moses says, before they go into the promised lands, he said, if you say in your heart, these nations are greater than I, how can I dispossess them? See, verse 18, Moses is saying, do not be afraid of them. And you and I, equally so, do not need to be afraid of the responsibilities that God is placing on us. And then here's the kicker, the focal point of today's reading for myself personally. In verse 22, Moses is telling the second generation of Israelites that the Lord your God will clear away these nations before you little by little. You may not make an end of them at once. Why? Lest the wild beasts grow too numerous for you. The Israelites, when they came into the promised land, God gave it to them little by little. And it's the same thing with your own life, with your own responsibilities that God has given you. You have to always remember, what is it that God has commanded you to do, not necessarily what other people think you should be doing or even what you think you should be doing, but what is the responsibility God Himself has given you. And in reality, when He gives us things to do, He gives it to us little by little so that the wild beasts won't grow too numerous for us. Little by little, we take the ground. Little by little, we increase in our responsibilities and hopefully in our effectiveness to God's kingdom. So I pray today that you will adopt the attitude that God will grow you little by little. I'll see you all in the next video.